What's up, creeps? I'm Exorcist.
And I'm Boo.
And we are Scurred. Kinda.
Not
no,
really.
We're not Scurred. Okay, so here's the deal. You're going to see us wearing the same attire. And we're probably going to look identical in our next video. Our next video will be the Blackwell Ghost 7, which means this one must be
the Blackwell Ghost 6.
Couple things. So I want to say it was like March of 2022, the Blackwell Ghost 6 came out. And it had been a good stretch between 5 and 6.
Yeah, we waited quite some time for it.
And we were hyped. Like, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but when it comes to the Blackwell Ghost series, Scurred is like probably close to, if not the #1 set of videos on YouTube regarding the Blackwell Ghost.
We've got them all?
We've got them all. And then we watched the Blackwell Ghost 6.
And we're utterly disappointed.
To say the least. In fact, what we've determined is if there wasn't a Blackwell Ghost 7, we wouldn't be doing this video right now.
No, we probably would have just skipped over it, never dealt with it again.
Yeah, that would have been the conclusion of our Blackwell Ghost series. I mean, that's how bad it was bad.
Not much to talk about.
No. I mean, there's a lot to talk about, but not much good to talk about.
No.
All right, we're gonna, and we do have the new, at this point in our series, okay, we do have the new Scurred scale. I think in all fairness to the previous 5 videos we've done, we shouldn't use the new scale for these videos.
No, I agree.
All right. We just agreed on that right now. That was brand new.
No pre-decision there.
Okay. So that said, I won't feel really bad when this movie gets the number I think it's going to.
Agreed. I don't think I'll rate it very highly.
No. But let's go into some of the details. Let's get into the plot. So from all of the 5 movies prior to this one, the only real gripe I think we ever had was some unfinished details, and then how number 2 to number 3,
which is a huge jump, completely different places,
like whole different theme, like a different building, had nothing to do with this Blackwell lady anymore. No, But since then, like 3, 4, 5, we're all pretty good.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is the first one that I've been disappointed by, honestly. And obviously, we have our reasons to be disappointed.
Definitely do. So, that being said, great series up until right now. The Blackwell Ghost 6 takes on this, like, weird, sad story. But the details of it really don't even make sense.
Yeah. I mean, like, first 10 minutes, I was crying. And then the rest of the movie, I was crying, but for a very different reason. I just was underwhelmed.
Yeah. So, generally, these films are about the director of the films. And it's hard to explain these. But if you've seen the previous 5 videos, you know this is kind of like a mockumentary of a documentary of a mockumentary. Like, the whole thing is supposed to be real, but it's not real. We don't think it's real.
Well, I thought it might have been, okay. But then I watched this one particularly, and I was like, eh.
No, and 6 is where it really jumps off the edge. And I don't care. We don't really do this on Scurred, but we're gonna give it to you. And it's not really a spoiler per se, but it is a feature that makes a difference. And this is where it really jumped off the bandwagon of, okay, is this real or not? Yeah. And that is his wife dies.
Right.
Okay, and it's terrible. Like, we don't want anybody's wife to die. Okay?
Right.
So
yeah. And you see him struggle with it, and you're like, oh man, that's sad.
Yeah, super sad. And it was cancer, and it was just like really fast. And in that time, they had a couple babies, and
he's just by himself with these babies
just alone
now.
with the kids.
And one of them is like fairly, like, I don't even think like a year old.
Baby. So the first yeah, like you said, 10 minutes or so. I mean, it appeals because you're going,
This poor guy.
we feel terrible, you know? But after that, like all of a sudden he's at their house, which they've never really in any of the other movies, they never showed their house. They were either at this location, that location, or the Lightfoot house.
Right. And they were, even in some of the previous movies, they weren't staying in their home while investigating these things. They were staying in someone else's home closer to the vicinity.
Yeah. So this one leaps us back to their house, which again is sad. Like, you know, they're in the home, the wife's not there, little babies, he's got cameras everywhere, because why wouldn't you put cameras everywhere inside your house?
Right.
Totally normal.
Yeah. I mean, we have a few, but that's different.
On the outside.
Yeah.
Not on the inside.
No.
That's just weird.
Yeah.
I mean, we won't get into it. Never mind. So that part of it's kind of strange. But where this really lost me, okay, I mean really lost me, is this like far out weird ass story about this wife's piano.
Yeah, that was like a good 30 minutes of piano. And that's it. It's like
this little, like what we think is a little old lady drops off the piano because there was a receipt that was found, or he has a receipt and it matches the wife's thing, and you know it just keeps appealing back and back and back to how the wife's gone and
right.
It's sad and blah blah blah, and then weird stuff starts to happen in the house.
Yeah, which doesn't make sense. Like this piano had been in their house before; they never had problems. They got rid of it. He gets it back. There's problems.
Yeah. But they're not related to anything.
No, like out of left field. And we've never heard about him having any of these problems in his house ever once. So that makes it hard to.
Well, the guy's a paranormal film maker. Like that's what he does in his, not these movies, but in his career.
Right.
That's
what he does.
I don't know what you call it. You know, so 3, 4, 5 when they're at the Lightfoot house makes a lot of sense to me,
right?
Because he has cameras everywhere, and when they do something creepy inside the house, which there's a lot of things that happen creepy inside the house. I mean, the table flipped over, and there's like things at the door, and you're like,
yeah,
kind of creepy. This was like, I don't know if the story was so bad at this point that I didn't think any of it was creepy or very well done, but I just don't think it was creepy or well done.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on, but at you just don't know what to feel about it, because you're like, well, we've seen these movies and we thought all of this was real, and then it just gets confusing and there's a lot going on, and you're like, this is kind of out of left field. How do I believe this?
Yeah. And I know how I feel, but I feel nothing.
Yeah, it's not scary because you're like, I don't believe this. It's not. You're like, okay, just another guy setting up paranormal things happening in his house.
It had like a Paranormal Activity vibe.
It did.
To it
really did.
But it wasn't scary.
Right.
The one I want to roll forward a little bit, because we can go on and on and on about how shitty this was.
Agreed.
It was really pretty bad.
Yeah.
But let's roll forward enough to know the only good thing that came out of the Blackwell Ghost 6. You can reveal that for us. You tell us what it is. Go ahead.
The Blackwell Ghost 7, in my opinion. That's the only thing that came out of it. Yeah.
It set the stage basically by putting him back at the Lightfoot house.
Right. Like his wife's gone. He buys this house. And then beginning of 7, there he is in the house without his wife. And
that was a key element, is that he bought, during 6, the Lightfoot house. Like the guy's like, hey, my health's really bad. I got some bad news for you.
Selling the house.
I got to sell the house, man.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, don't do this. I'm so close.
That's it. That's it.
That's all of it. That's what it was good for. It set up number 7. By the way, which we encourage you to watch the next video, because number 7's actually pretty dark.
It is really, really, really good.
Maybe I liked it better than several of the other ones.
I agree.
Okay. So we're setting that up. don't give up on the Blackwell ghost just yet. This close on number 6, amigo. This close. This close. There's a gap there, but it's little.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're not going with the new enhanced Scurred scale. We're going with the old kind of way of doing it, when we talk about characters, which there's really no characters. I mean, this is the guy.
Yeah.
But that's not really ever been negative, except for this time, because he was still good. It just was different.
It just felt very, and I don't even maybe it wasn't staged, but it felt overdone. So if these things really were happening, it kind of just seemed like he was really pushing that to be more.
Yeah. Like if he wanted, really, honestly, if he wanted to set up number 7 and that whole plot line that takes place, which we'll talk about, he could have probably just made 7 number 6 and did 5 minutes worth of whatever the hell this was.
Yeah.
In the first 5 minutes of 7.
And this was almost a 2-hour movie.
It
and
was painful.
You could have summed it up in 5 seconds probably.
And I watched it twice.
I didn't want to watch it again because there's no point.
Shame on me.
Yeah.
So overall, let's just get into it, and then we'll just be done with number 6. We'll never talk about it again. We'll include it in the playlist because you have to.
Yeah.
But let's sum this thing up. Your overall opinion, if you were going to give it a score, if you're going to recommend people watch this or not watch this, where are you at?
I feel like you could probably watch 7 without watching 6.
I don't see why you couldn't.
He doesn't bring up his wife. And in the very beginning, he's like, he kind of flashes back to 6. I just bought this house. I'm doing this work in this house. And he just summed it up. There could have not even been a 6 movie.
That's what I'm saying. The first whole 5 minutes of 7, you could have done 6.
Right. And he did.
He did.
My wife is gone. I bought this house. Right. And then they move on to the story.
Yep. That's it.
Yeah.
So give me a number. I mean, on a scale of 1 to 10, 0 being and 10 being absolutely Scurred, what are you going to give this thing?
I feel
and then
bad.
I'll tell you if I agree with you.
I feel bad giving it a 0, so maybe a 1.
I'm going to give it a stiff 1.
He's good at what he does. Mm-hmm. I just don't like the way it was done.
No. He might get a 2 just because, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But that's really not what this is about.
No.
I mean, this is about the content, the core bunch of this thing, and he only gets a 1 because it set up the stage for number 7. That's right. It.
That's And I like him as a guy, but I feel like it was overdone a little bit.
Yeah. Turner Clay, I don't know where you went wrong with this one, man. Sorry, brother.
Tried too hard.
This sucked. And it was really irrelevant to the prior ones and to the future ones. So
still love you, but not your best work.
No. Burn it. Take it off Amazon and
just
hide
relabel it. Number 6.
Make this found footage disappear.
Yeah.
Agreed?
Agreed.
Okay, so I feel like we're wasting time and we're wasting other people's time and we're wasting our own energy if we don't just call this one a 1.
It's a 1.
Say it was terrible.
Yeah.
Skip 6, go to 7, and let's wrap this thing up.
Agreed.
All right. So that's it. Blackwell goes 6. Skip it, but still like our video and subscribe.
Yeah. We just saved you 2 hours of your life, so.
Big time. For real. You're welcome.
Yeah.
So that's it. We're gonna stop this one. We'll do our editing and all of our Scurred magic. But we're gonna end it where we always end it. So without further ado, I'm Exorcist.
And I'm Boo.
And until next time,
sleep tight.